The word karma has its origin in Sanskrit, which literally means action. Unfortunately, most people have understood action in terms of good and bad deeds. They see karma as a balance sheet of merits, demerits, virtues, and sins. This notion has created generations of puzzled and fearful human beings who use the term indiscriminately without a clue of what it means. I don't think there is another word in any language who has more myths, fallacies, and fears related to it than karma has. Sadhguru's book Karma shatters all these false beliefs and gives you a guide to crafting your destiny and become the master of your own fate. In most cultures of the world, people have been told that God determines the course of their life. Therefore, they look up to God. But in India, we have always been told your life is your karma and your karma was created by you, and it is knowingly or unknowingly being created by you every moment of your life. Karma is therefore an invitation to look within, not upward. If the source of your life is within, it can only be fixed and worked from within. In fact, karma has nothing to do with reward and punishments. Karma means action, which means your life is a result of your action. Isn't it a great freedom that your life is 100% your making and determined by you only? Karma simply means we have created the blueprint of our lives. It means we are the makers of our own fate. When we say this is my karma, we are actually saying I am responsible for my life. You must always remember, karma is not a doctrine. You do not get any negative marks for disbelieving it. Karma is not an ideology, a philosophy, or just a theory. It is an existential mechanism of life. If you understand the very basis of the karma's mechanism, you are highly enhanced to take charge of your life and to craft your own destiny. By now, you must be thinking, okay, if my life is 100% my making, then why I am attracted to situations and people I don't want in my life? Or why most people always seems to be in constant friction with life? Although karma means action, it does not necessarily refer to physical deeds. Karma is action on 3 levels: body, mind, and energy. Whatever you do on these 3 levels leaves a certain residue or imprints upon you. Understand it this way: your 5 senses are collecting data from the outside world every moment of your life. You are literally being bombarded with loads of information at every instant. Over time, these enormous volumes of impressions begin to assume a certain distinctive pattern within you. This pattern slowly shapes itself into a behavioral tendencies, and according to these life tendencies, you start attracting situation in your life. This becomes your karma, an orientation to life that you have created for yourself in relative unawareness. In other words, karma is like old software that you have written for yourself, mostly unconsciously, and you are updating it on daily basis. Every act that you do unconsciously, you could also do consciously, and that makes a world of difference. So what's the point of karma if my whole life is going to be decided by my unawareness? Is there a way out? Can I really become the master of my destiny? You still are the master of your destiny, but you are doing it unconsciously, and that's the reason you are not enjoying the consequences. But you can start writing this software by your own choice. Sadhguru says, if you have mastery over your physical body, 15 to 20% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you have mastery over your mind, 50 to 60% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. If you have mastery over your life energies, 100% of your life and destiny will be in your hands, to such an extent that you can choose the moment of the death, as to when and how you should die. And I'm not referring to suicide. You can choose the womb in which you will be born. How you will be born, every moment of your life can become self-determined if you take 100% charge of your life energies. Then what about all the astrology business or the spiritual practices? See, spiritual practices are always about taking your destiny in your own hands. Let's say you want to fly a plane. You first look at the weather, clouds, winds, etc. Traditionally, people turn to astrologers for the same reason, only to navigate around possible obstacles, not to know their life script. Because you have accumulated a lot of karma in your past. If you want to aim for something big, you want to take care of it before it becomes an obstacle for you. You can also understand karma as a heap of memory. Everything that has ever come into contact with you is there in your memory, influencing your personality. Your physical body is a certain genetic memory coming from your forefathers. These genetic memories are not inherently positive or negative, but rather how we deal with them makes the whole difference. Similarly, your mind is also a heap of impressions and ideas you have imbibed and processed over time. Basically, you keep accumulating karma in many ways. Another philosophy of avoidance and detachment have begun to grow popular among people in order to avoid karma. But the irony is, the more you try to avoid your karma, the more it multiplies. Suppression is surely not the solution. In fact, karma is the basis of your existence. Let's say, tomorrow morning your body lost all memory. You would not survive a moment. Or if you lost your mind completely, you won't be able to do simple tasks in your life. So question is, why there is so much negative talks about karma? Is karma really a dirty word? Is memory a burden or an obstacle to you? Truth is, your software is not the problem. It turns into a problem only if it becomes the ruling factor in your life. Karma is just your own creation. It is neither good nor bad. The only problem with karmic memory starts when it has stuck to you in a way that it does not let you see the way life is. If your memory, which is essentially a past, become a ruling factor, then there is no future for you. You will keep rotating in the same cycles. If you let your past or your whims or unconscious tendencies decide your actions, then you are not in the driving seat of your life anymore. You may get excited and believe you are living something new, but you will only keep attracting the same situation, same people, and same result again and again. So what is the way out? The process of using your karma as a process to liberate yourself is Karma Yoga. There is a very famous story about Karma Yoga. On a certain day, 3 men were working on a site. A passerby came and asked the first man, "What are you doing?" The man looked up and said, "Are you blind? Can't you see I am cutting stones?" The passerby went to the second man and asked the same question. Second man replied, "What do you think I am doing? I am trying to earn my living. I need to fill my belly somehow." The passerby went to the third man and asked again, "What are you doing here?" The man stood up in a great joy and replied, "I am building a glorious temple." All men were doing the same work. For the first man, his work was simply cutting stones. For the second man, his work was simply to earn a livelihood. But for the third man, his work was an opportunity to create something beautiful that he cared for deeply. The logic of Karma Yoga is very simple. Every single activity you engage, it can be used as the process of entanglement or the process of liberation. If you use the activity as the process of entanglement, it is karma. If you use the same activity as the process of liberation, it is Karma Yoga. In simpler words, if action creates bondage, it is karma. If action creates freedom, it is Karma Yoga. If you perform action miserably, it is karma. If you perform the same action joyfully and effortlessly, that is Karma Yoga. So what should I do? Should I leave my job and family and go to some mountains? It's not about the content of your life, but the context of your life that matters here. Your focus not need to be on what to do, but on how to do. Becoming a Karma Yogi doesn't mean you have to give up whatever you are doing right now. It means you do it with wholehearted involvement and in the process help create a more joyful world wherever you go. Also, there are more fallacies about Karma Yoga. Many believe that Karma Yoga means unrelenting action. This is untrue. Karma Yoga is not about always being busy, but about performing the kind of action that leads you toward your freedom. And also, it's not about following one's so-called duty. Doing something miserably or based on just self-righteousness is not a contribution to life. Next question could be, so if the duty is irrelevant, does it mean you can do whatever you want? Yes, it does. But you must remember, whatever you do, there is a consequence. If you are willing to joyfully take the consequences of your action, go right ahead. But if you are going to cry over things when they turn unpleasant, it is best you regulate the action and act with some sensitivity and foresight. Sadhguru says, there are 2 approaches to Karma Yoga, either by acting with awareness or by acting with total abandon. So what does awareness mean? First, understand, awareness is not mental alertness, nor is it mindfulness. Mental alertness will help you enhance your ability to survive in the world, but has no existential consequences. Awareness emerges from the deepest layer of the human being. This is called Chitta, or consciousness without content. Once you are in touch with this deepest layer, awareness happens effortlessly. Awareness is a far deeper dimension. It is not something you do. It is not an action. It is a state of being. It is the way you are. You can set the right condition for it to happen, but you cannot do it. If you bring your physical, mental, and energy bodies into alignment, there will be a room for awareness to blossom. Then, what about abandon? What does it mean? It means that your involvement has become so intense that you are willing to abandon yourself. Most people think the word refers to abandoning someone or something, but this is about abandoning yourself. When you are completely lost or immersed in any activity, the influence of your past karma is no longer upon you. Many sports person and artists know this state of immersion, but the frustration is that they are unable to sustain it. Immersive activity can give you a taste of freedom, but it cannot last. Yoga is the science of sustaining that experience. Whether you work, dance, cook or play, just do it with total awareness, or else do it with total abandon. Both way you are closer to creation. But if neither awareness nor abandon is the part of your life, you are stuck in your own creation. This is a tragic way to live. Now you may ask, what does all this have to do with being spiritual? See, being spiritual does not mean living a half life. Being spiritual is not a disability. Rather, it's an empowerment. It does not mean limiting your sphere of activity. It means enhancing it. A spiritual person can cook, clean, walk, work, manage a business or a nation, do anything they want and still be spiritual. A spiritual person is one who has found action in inaction and inaction in action. In this book, Sadhguru also explains the full details how Karma Yoga can be practiced on the level of your body, your mind and your energy. He doesn't give any spiritual advice but a living process that can transform your day-to-day life. What are the different practices that can be done on daily basis to make distance from this karmic memory, so your karma becomes an stepping stone in your life, not an obstacle, so that you can use your karma as a launching pad rather than being ravished by it. I want to be very honest here. This is not the kind of book which I can summarize, because whatever Sadhguru has offered through this book, it is already very compact, precise and full of the mechanism of karma, which you can only grasp and imbibe as a first-hand experience. My only goal for this video is to give you a taste of the depth of this book and the kind of impact it can create over your life. If this kind of content resonates with you, I highly recommend you order this book and read it yourself. Again, to understand this book and the whole karma mechanism, you don't need to believe in any philosophy, religion, creed or any kind of dogma, but it helps you start a journey of getting free from all the bondages you have. Writing the script for this video is one of the best experience of my life so far. This book has left a really strong imprint on me and has widened my perspective on how much I don't know and still keep living the life half sleep. If this video does well, I may do more such content here on Reading Leaf. But for now, if my efforts have added values to your life, the best way you can thank me is by liking this video, subscribing to my channel and buying me a book. Also, don't forget to click the bell icon so that every time I upload a new video, you will get the notification.